Hello and welcome to this modding guide about Dialogue NPCs in Conan Exiles. This is going to be the second time I'm doing this video, because the first one ran an hour and a half as I was figuring out some of the new systems as we went. And then I also accidentally muted for the last half an hour, so there we go. Second attempt, hopefully it will be a bit more rushed. Okay, so Dialogue NPCs in Conan Exiles. We actually have two types. There's version 1 and version 2, and there's like a third offshoot of version 1. So what does that mean? In the old version of the game, you have the simple dialogue NPCs like Conan in the bar. Those are the version 1s. They're data table driven. I'll show you exactly how they work. We're gonna quickly cover all of them. And then there's the offshoot of that. That's why I said it's two types, and one of them is more of an offshoot. That's the barkeeper trader interface. It's a shop basically. And then there's the version 2, which was recently added for the companion system. Alright, so let's get to it. First of all, we're gonna make a mod controller because we cannot have any mods without it. I'm going to name it Dialogue Demo MC. Right, and then we want to make a spawn data table because we need that for any NPC. And spawn table row, that is the correct one. Demo dialogue, which is going to be DD from now on. DT, so DT. Okay, spawn, I can't type. It's just gonna call it spawn table. Right, that was I hate naming things, but you have to do it. So in order to get an NPC in here, I'm just gonna copy one from the vanilla spawn data table. I have a second content browser on the second screen just to make things easier to access, but I'll show all the relevant stuff on the main screen. So I just looked up the spawn data table and I opened it. And we're going to look up an NPC. We used the Cimmerian Berserker as an example. I'm just gonna try to follow what I did in the first attempt of the video, because then it takes less time trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm going to paste it into my own data table and then give it a new row name, which is going to be based off of what we're spawning it from the admin panel. Last time I made the mistake of naming it Dialogue Demo NPC, and the system is full of Dialogue NPCs, so I'm just gonna name it as Test Dialogue NPC. So this is going to be our NPC we're basing this whole demo off of. We're going to merge this table so that we can access our NPC. In the mod controller, mod data table, regular merge, spawn data table, and we're going to use our dialogue, oh, there it was, dialogue demo, whatever. I could have picked a better name. Anyway, we're gonna compile and save, and this should be enough for us to be able to load our NPC. I am going to rename it to Cimmerian Berserker Dude. I'm losing my ability to speak after doing the 2-hour video and failing at it miserably. Anyway, we're gonna test it just to see if he's there. And our NPC was called Test. Come on now. Test Dialogue NPC, there it is. Right, so it's a stock Cimmerian Berserker. If I exit creative mode, it's going to try to murder me. So what do we need to do to make him into Dialogue NPC? The beginning portion is the same, regardless of which version of the dialogue system you want to use. So essentially we need to make sure that this NPC is going to be a child or the actual class of the dialogue NPC, so that it has the correct dialogue component which handles all the widgets and everything. So in order to do that, we're going to open our spawn data table, go down to the NPC class, which is the actual class for the actor, and replace this with a dialogue NPC. Now make sure that you're using the humanoid dialogue NPC, if it's a human NPC. There is a simple dialogue NPC you can see here, but that one doesn't have the humanoid setup for all the equipment, so it's essentially going to be a naked character. You can use this for like monsters and things that are not humans, basically, where you have your custom mesh and stuff, and it doesn't use the customization component. So we're just going to use the humanoid dialogue NPC. I believe this is the correct one, but we can quickly verify, just in case. And it has our dialogue component, and that's all we want to do, and it's a child of the humanoid NPC character. So this is correct, this is fine. So we're just going to use this vanilla class for now. We don't need our own. Later on, for the shop system, we will need it. Right, so what else do we need to do here in order to make this? If you scroll down to the thralls section, you see NPC behavior parameters. This is important. This is going to be where you define the link between the various dialogue assets. So if I look at the default one here, which is selected, it's just a simple data blueprint. It has leash range, roam radius, it's stock, it's for all NPCs. There is a child of this for dialogue NPCs, which has 2 additional parameters, and I want to make one of those. So we'll go back to our mod folder and create a new blueprint. And whenever you create blueprints, by the way, make sure you do it like this. Like, don't be the lazy guy who opens up a vanilla Conan like Funcom blueprint and does a save as and just saves all the code to their mod and creates like a parallel chain. Make sure that you actually, if you have a legit parent, you can pick it and make a new blueprint. In this case, we have behavior parameters, and I want the dialogue version, if I can find it. Wait, it's easier maybe if I just search for dialogue. Yeah, there it is. So BP dialogue params, this is what you need to use. As you can see, the behavior parameters, the previously open one is the parent of this. So we are going to now make a child of this one. And we're going to call it, so this mod is going to be demo dialogue NPC. Or NPC dialogue demo, so NDD. Just to set up a bit of a naming convention here. And this is a, what is this? Dialogue behavior parameters. Right, I gave it a really, like I said, I hate naming shit on the spot. So here you see 2 additional options. This is the same as the other one, it just expanded in full blueprint view for now. We have the top option here, dialogue table entry. This is for version 1 of the system. And this new one has a dialogue 2 asset, dialogue version 2 asset. This uses a completely different system, which we'll see in a bit. For now, we're going to bother with version 1, so we're interested in this top portion, the table entry. So what is this table? This is referring to the NPC dialogues table. My cat in the background, you can probably hear. This is a data table that has a bunch of dialogue-related things set up. This is where you can find Conan, for example, and his lovely greetings. I'll use my second content browser to look these up. So, for example...
So you live, and we meet again.
You know Conan from the bar who always drinks in the bar and hasn't left for 8 years, only to mess up Mechcomosis a bit. But yeah, that guy. Anyway, he uses the version 1 system because he's old. So in order to make our NPC like this, anyway, before we forget, important, let's do a finding content browser on this. This is our behavior parameters that we just made, and let's set it to our actual NPC in this data table. So now we need to make our NPC dialogues table. We are just going to use the structure to make a new table, just like we did for the spawn data table. And the structure is called NPC dialogue table structure, I believe, this one. But we'll see. So NDDDT, much easier, see. NPC dialogues, for example. Yeah, this is the same table. All right, so now we can save this, and we're gonna add a new record and call it our demo dude. And you take this row name that you added and you put it into here, the dialogue NPC parameters. And that's the link between the systems. So you have spawn data table having this in the thrall section in the NPC behavior parameters, and that links over to our NPC dialogues table. So what is all this now? Because now our NPC is a legit dialogue NPC, because we changed the class to a dialogue NPC and we set up these parameters. So if I load him up now and spawn him, then he should be a dialogue NPC. Right, so as you can see, he's no longer trying to murder me. Oh, it actually is. Sorry, my bad. Or what was that all about? Probably need to set him to passive, but we're just gonna use creative mode. Actually, let's do that quickly, just so you... This is how we end up with 2-hour-long videos, right? So, well, we can just make him dialogue NPC behavior tree. Hopefully that was enough, and I don't need to mess with all the... I might have to, we'll see. The AI data preset. But that's like a regular NPC creation. We have a guide for that. He's still yelling at me and trying to hit me. Probably that's why. So let's do that too. If you scroll down here, you will see aggressive chase in the AI data preset. These are from the AI data table. And I believe we have a dialogue NPC section here, which should make them passive and hold position. So you just copy paste the name in here, and then you save it. And if he still yells at me, then I'm not sure what's wrong. Then that goes into troubleshooting section, which is what usually prolongs these videos. I'll try to skip those as much as possible. Test dialogue. Okay. We're friends now? We're friends? Friends? Good. Okay. Good friends. Okay, another thing. I'm just wondering why he's all of a sudden roaming around. Wait. I guess he does have a roam radius. Let's put that to 0. Though I believe it's going to be the can roam NPC flag again. We're 14 minutes in and I'm wasting time on this. Holy shit. This. Don't walk. Stay put. Oh well. Most likely that's the cause of it. Which we should be able to solve by making a child of this class and setting the actual variable. Interesting. Anyway, back to our video here. We need to merge our NPC dialogue table. I'm just wondering, because the previous version, when I did the 2-hour-long video almost, didn't do this wandering around, and I didn't even change the AI preset or anything. All I did was make a child class of the other one. Anyway, there it is, NPC dialogues. Maybe now that I merged the table, it will suddenly fix itself. Not sure, we'll see. Because up to now it didn't have a legit link. And I realized I forgot to merge the table. Wait, he's still walking around, but I can make him stop and talk to me. Right, so there's that. Interesting, because it's set to hold. I made him not roam. Anyway, we'll make the blueprint later for him anyway, and we're going to try to set it there. I'm not gonna bother with this too much. It still bugs me though. So back to dialogues, right? So we have our new dialogue table. What are all of these? Initial greeting, you can actually define a sound file to use whenever you open the dialogue window on him for the first time. So for this, just so we have some sounds to test, we're going to ask for some help from none other than Beer Man. I have some old clips from him, and we're going to import a couple of them into our mod folder. Right, so
Come on! Get to the chopper!
just Beer Man for you.
Put the hatchet away, girly man.
What the hell? This ain't me sword.
Haha, your item is shit.
So there you go, sound files. So we're going to use some of these. We'll use this, not my sword. I used the Knuckles one previously, but it's a bit long. So we'll use this as the initial greeting. And then we're going to save it and load up the game again. Test Dialogue NPC.
What the hell? This ain't me sword.
And as you can see, he's doing the sound. And now he's not doing it. Why is he not doing it? It's not doing it because we only said this as the initial greeting. That's when you meet him for the first time. So if we want him to do it again, that's the distinction between two. You have a simple greeting below. So I'm going to look up this file and use it here as well. Now he will use the same one, even for the initial one, and like even if we talk to him again. Sorry, I'm just a lot of speaking.
What the hell? This ain't me sword. What the hell? This ain't me sword.
No, that's an axe, dude. Right, so we have that. Let me just pull this over to the other screen. Farewell. This is what he says when you close the dialogue. Oh, one more thing. You might have noticed there's no subtitles. The reason for it is because in Unreal, subtitles are a thing, and they're actually defined on the sound wave assets themselves. So if you come down here to subtitles, you can press plus, and you have these two members. The first one is the actual text. Make him like confused. This ain't me sword. Right, so, and this is the time where you want it to play. So for example, if you have a long audio file where the NPC takes pauses, then you can like add a second member and set the start time to like 50 seconds in, and then put the subtitle there. But we don't need that for this one. So I'm just gonna put it at 0. And now when this audio file plays, doesn't matter where it plays in the game, whether it's part of an animation, part of some random code, the subtitles will display automatically. Right, so let's get the guy back. Oops.
What the hell?
As you can
This
see,
ain't me sword.
there's the subtitles. Right. We'll get back to this in the version 2, because there's a bit of a gimmick there with the... anyway, let's not get off topic. So what is next? Let's speed this up a bit. Sorry, this is the sound asset. I'm staring at it like an idiot. I wanted to get back to this table. So these are starting combat, during combat, death, if you actually have combat enabled for the guy. But we made him a legit dialogue NPC now. He's just marching around like an idiot, but yeah, that's fine. You have offered emote. You can set an actual emote, and it will teach you the... like automatically a dialogue option will come up to teach you this emote. Same goes with the offered feat IDs. So let's test these quickly. Right, so where's the guy? I need to rename him to something simpler.
What the hell?
See,
This ain't me
I
sword.
already know the emote, so it's grayed out, but you have the option to learn cheer from him just by adding that one thing. Right, let's get back to go away content browser. Let's get back to our table. What else can you do? You can let him teach you a feat. So for this, you look up the regular feat table. There it is, and you find whatever feat you want. I don't know, maybe this expert survivalist 15. Not sure what this teaches anymore, but I will go and set this up. You can add multiple options if you want, but I'm just gonna do the one. And if we press play again, then he should teach us this survivalist feat.
What the hell?
There you go.
This
I
ain't
can
me
learn
sword.
it. See? That's pretty much it. Moving on, we have purchased items. They also have limited options for a shop. There's multiple shop stuff, but we'll cover that later. So for this, all you need is some item IDs. So you open up the item table. This is useful for setting up a really simple shop, and you can add an item. What does he offer for sale? And let's see, I don't know, steel bars. That's always popular with people. We get the template ID. Let's close the feed table, we no longer need it. Right, how much do we want? Let's say he's going to give me 10 steel bars, and what does he want in return? Same 2 members. Let's see, he wants a gold coin, because I believe I have a couple on my character from the earlier testing. And we're going to pay 2 gold coins for 10 steel bars. And this should already be enough to add the shop.
What the hell?
There it is.
This ain't me sword.
And just to confirm, I have a bunch of gold coin here. Come back here.
What the hell? This ain't me sword.
Sell me your sword. So as you can see, it works fine. It takes my gold, gives me the steel bar, and if I toss out all my gold, it should be grayed out.
What the
There it
hell?
is.
This ain't me sword.
There we go. Give me back my gold. Ah. I did the quick loot. No.
What the hell? This ain't me sword.
Right, so there's that. This ain't me sword. We skipped over the conversation. You know how NPCs have that talk option? This is an array, and it basically plays these in sequence whenever you press the talk button. So if you have 2 of them, then it will play it one after the other. If you have 3, it will play all 3 in a row. This is where you can add like small sections of dialogue. So for this, we're going to use 2 of Beerman's things. One of them is going to be the shit item. The other one is going to be the chopper. And this should add the talk option to my NPC. As you can see, this old dialogue system is quite versatile as well. Like it's not bad for most simple stuff. It's really good. Right. And now
What
we
the
have the
hell?
talk option.
This ain't me sword.
But he's walking away.
Your item is shit. Crom laughs at your shitty item. Go get another item and come back when you are a man. Your item.
Come on! Get to the chopper!
So it basically skips to the next one. I press it again. Right. So we covered shops. There's one more thing he can... there is this rotating shop. This is the same as these offered purchase things, except it uses a data table, and you can set up multiple groups of items that it will rotate between. So if we look up that table, I believe it's called rotating shops. I'll show you just an example. See, you can set the rotation interval in seconds, and whether there's a different rotation interval on in single player, because you know the time doesn't advance there, so they probably wanted to add an option to add a shorter wait. And then you just list all the items that it rotates between in a single entry. Now obviously you would merge into this table as well and set it up correctly. I'm not going to do this because we're really going out of scope here, but I just want to cover every option here. And lastly, we have shop items. Now this is the off spin that I was telling you about. This is the new barkeeper vendor interface. So we're going to wipe all these offered purchases out. And the paid items. Oh, I didn't show the thralls. I wanted to show thralls as well. You can have them sell thralls. It's exactly the same as the other one. For the cost, you can set up gold. Where's my gold coin? Here it is. Let's quickly do this as well. And I don't know, 5 gold. And for this, we need a weighted spawn table row. But we can give it a title. This title is how it will appear on the dialogue UI. So, I don't know, let's say dancer. And we're going to pick a dancer weighted spawn. Where's my content browser? There it is. Wait, did spawn table row. This is the table, and we're going to look up dancer. I don't know, a weighted ID that contains several dancers. This black dancer is fine, and we're going to get the weighted table ID and just plug it in here. Save, and now it should have the option to give me a converted dancer thrall from that weighted ID. This is how the initial slave trader shops were set up with the Khitan things.
What the hell?
You can see
This
there
ain't
it
me
is. For
sword.
5 gold it gave me a dancer, which is here. I can spawn it. Oops. Shaders. And now he's there. Oh, dancy. Bye. Right, that was me. Anyway, we covered that option too. And what was left is the shop items for the new version. So if you want to make like a legit NPC shop, then forget what we've just been doing in the top here with all the other stuff. And you can use these shop items. Whenever you have anything defined here, it will show up in a new style interface, provided you set up things properly. So these are going to be recipes. Imagine your thrall being a instant crafting station or NPC, and you tell them what the ingredients are and what it's going to craft. The ingredients is going to be the cost, like the gold coins for example, and the result item in the recipe setup will be the item that you will get instantly from this NPC. I do have a more detailed guide on this in the modding Discord, the tips channel, if you want to check that out. It's a written guide. Can't speak anymore, sorry. Right, so let's cover the shop quickly. For the shop, 2 things need to happen. First of all, I need to override which dialogue panels open, because it's using the crafting UI, the standard one. And I also need to set up a recipe, which I'm not going to do. I'm actually going to use an existing one just to make things speedier. So if I can get my content browser back here, then we're going to look up the recipe table. And we're going to look up a... I'll cheat a bit and actually look at the original table, because it's much easier. So the original NPC dialogues table where somebody has a shop item. There, that guy has a shop item. Actually, let's go with this one because this is Iskar. This is the example I used in my guide. So this first item here, this is the recipe item for the battering ram. Let's look this up. As you can see, the ingredient ID, it's gold coins, 400 gold coins is the same ID as my gold coin here. So you set this up as the ingredient and you set up the result item that you want to give out, which will be the battering ram actual weapon, so not the recipe. In the item table, this weapon. So the recipe is going to take my 400 gold and provide me with one of these items. And you can just merge into the recipes table as normal. And then you take this recipe ID and you simply add it in your dialogue table in the shop items array as such. Right, so this will not be enough, like I said. There's one more thing that we need to do, but I'll show you what it will look like. So whenever the system detects an item in the shop array, it will use the crafting UI to open the dialogue.
What the hell? This ain't
This trade option will show up and you press this and that will open the crafting UI. But you get the standard version because you didn't set up what happens when you interact with it. So this is his actual weapon. I can steal his weapon from this and his equipment and stuff. come back here. Don't run away. So what do we need to do? This is where I said we should make a new custom NPC class. So instead of using the standard Dialogue NPC, humanoid Dialogue NPC, we will make a child class of this and then override a couple of functions so it uses the correct panels. So a new blueprint in our mod folder, and what was it? Something dialogue humanoid. I'm slow. That one. So humanoid. Oops. Dialogue NPC. This one. Right. And we're going to name it, what was our little abbreviation? NDD, BP, let's say demo vendor. Right, so now we have our own little NPC blueprint. Again, I made a child instead of a copy, and I'll just use this here on the spawn data table. When you open this, first of all, there is a setting here. Is Dialogue NPC. When this is checked, this will make all other NPCs passive towards this. So it's a good way to prevent others from attacking your vendor. It's checked by default, but I'm just letting you know, so you know. It also makes them immune to damage by default, because the damage code in the combat blueprint excludes anything that has this flag. Right, so the reason we want this is it has the dialogue component, but most of all the reason we made the new one is so we can override some functions. And what we want to override, I wish there was a search here, honestly this is like one of the worst things ever. The client get crafting UI center panel and right panel, both of these. This is which UI will show up in the various location of the crafting UI. We want to disable the center one, so it doesn't show up with the inventory there, with the weapon slot that I could steal. And we want to set the right panel to the new shop interface. So we override one, and then we find the other one and override that one to right panel. We delete the parents because we don't care about them. I made an inappropriate joke in the previous video here. Right, and center panel is going to be none. And for the right panel, what are these? So these are UI modules. Let's use the other content browser. And there is a special table for them. If you search for panel table, then you will find it. And what we need is the barkeeper one. Barkeeper inventory. Because this is the, if I open it, you can see the shop item, trade offer, buying things. Right, so let's close this. And for the right panel, we're going to use this. So again, center panel is none, right panel is the barkeeper inventory. This is for the shop. And now if we start our play mode, I should be able to purchase the battering ram for him for 400 gold.
What the hell? This ain't me sword.
See, there it is. And I can actually buy it. There it is. So the shop is working. I'm not sure why he's still walking around, because like I said in the other example, he didn't. It's kind of weird. He wants to go away. But now that we have a, a new blueprint, we can try to force the issue a bit. So he should have a property called roam. No? Oh, the controller has the property. Oh wait, let's go back here then. Human AI controller. Huh. Anyway, I'm just gonna use code to set it up quickly because it's like normally you would make them not roam by checking his guard spot on the spawn point on the map, but when you spawn from the admin panel, it just makes them roam automatically, it seems. It's weird because, like I said, it didn't. But anyway, we're quickly gonna do this. And make him not able to roam. Let's see if that does the trick. Just so he doesn't keep running off. He's still moving. Something's making him move and I don't know what. Did this even run? Yeah, it did. Just out of curiosity. Anyway, if it doesn't, it doesn't. Again, the only reason I'm weirded out by this is because I did a whole 2-hour tutorial with this and he didn't make a move, and it was the same setup basically. So I just don't get what's going on here. Perhaps because I made him like a... I changed his behavior or something. Again, it shouldn't because that's what they use for Dialogue NPCs, but we can check quickly. That's probably a good idea. Check a legit NPC like Conan, for example. Yeah, it uses human controller and it actually has BT dialogue. So maybe that, I don't know. Because I had Dialogue NPC set. I haven't checked the actual trees to see what's happening there. Anyway, I'm just trying to quickly fix this so it's not going all over the place while I'm trying to talk to it. Ah, that was it. Dummy. Now he stops. I'm not sure if my code or this changed, but probably this changed. Or is it to sometimes work, sometimes doesn't. Anyway, we solved that. Let's just quickly off topic here while we're at it. So why is this happening? Where's the other one? This one's just wandering around. The other one's trying to get home, okay. Cool. Nice to know. Anyway, he stopped, so that I'm happy with that. Things. Breaky things. Off topic should be over now. We're 44 minutes in, and we covered the shop. Right? Last thing we did. He can now be convinced to sell me items.
What the hell? This ain't me sword.
Is it though? This is your battering ram, I know. We should have made him sell a sword. Then he would be a sellsword. Anyway, it works. Gave me 2 battering rams. Oh, why do I have so much? Whatever. Right, so we got him to stop, we got him to sell us stuff. We're done now with version 1 of the dialogue system. So let's try to quickly squeeze in version 2. This is the tricky part, but I figured out some of the quirks that, like, so I'm viewing it more of a second time, because the other attempt was my first time looking at these. I haven't used these ever, and they're fairly new. They were introduced with the companion system. And there are some quirks, so thankfully I got some of those out of the way by doing the longer video. Hopefully, we're not done yet, so we'll see. Right, so what is the difference between them? I did mention at the beginning that when you make those NPC behavior parameters, where are those? These? You have 2 options. You either use the table or you use an asset. So if we do not use the table, we use version 2, then this doesn't count. This whole table is not needed. So we don't need to merge it or do anything with it. Where's my mod controller? There it is. I'm just going to disconnect this. It didn't do any harm by being there, but just showing that it's not needed. So what we're going to do is delete this, set it back to none, and we're going to create a dialogue version 2 asset. So what is that? It's found under data assets, so MISC and data asset and dialogue. And we're gonna give it a name, NDD dialogue asset. And this is what it looks like. It's a bit strange at first, but yeah. Let's find this in the content browser, and then we're going to set it for the behavior parameters. So essentially our NPC is now compatible with version 2, everything's set up, and this is our dialogue tree, a new type of thing. So what can this do? You can add nodes. You can, by default, this node is referring to the NPC. You can make it a player action. This is a button that you can press, basically. You can add events and you can add conditions. We'll cover these in a bit. So firstly, let's enter some text. So we're going to say, this is what the NPC says, basically. Welcome to my little corner, of almost empty, because that's the map we're playing on. Right, so what do we do with this? We link them. So this is our start node. We add link and we link this up. See? Pretty. So this will make the NPC display this text when I interact with him. There he is. And as you can see, the text displays in the bottom. So what happens when you use an audio asset? What happens is it will override this. So if you use a sound file, doesn't matter if it doesn't have any subtitles, it will try to use the subtitles from the sound file. Meaning that this text will not appear as long as you're using a sound file. Let's put that to the test. Here is where you would use a sound file. See, sound. This dialogue wave is a new type of asset. It's like a complicated thing. Not even Funcom uses it. It's probably AI related. You can choose which type of voice to play and stuff like that. But not really implemented as far as I could see. I don't know. So let's use Beerman's. We're going to be using the top one, the sound one. Let's use Beerman's sounds, not me sword. No, let's use the chopper ones, so we have some variance. So as you can see, what will happen here is the reason I wanted to use this, I'll show you in a second. Ooh, my throat. I'm gonna become like the thirsty guy in Discord. You know, the one who always makes the videos with the starvation and everything.
Come on! Get to the chopper!
Now you have the sound, but you don't have any text, even though my text was on the node, as you could see. The reason I showed you this sound is because we set subtitles for the other one. So if I switch back to the Not Me Sword, now we should see the subtitles from that sound asset, even though we're using the version 2 system.
What the hell?
See?
This ain't me sword.
So it's just overriding the text from this asset. But anyway, we're going to remove the sound, and we're just gonna go text-based for now. Like, that's how you would do all the sound stuff. So, what can you do there? You can, by the way, right-click nodes, and you can add a PC answer or NPC answer. This is the equivalent of adding a new node, adding a link, and clicking it as that it's a player action. So you can do it all in one click by right-clicking, add PC answer. So this is going to be our options for the dialogue menu. We're going to, I don't know, greet him, say hello, nice to meet you. And now we'll have this option. I'm just trying to show all the stages so that it's obvious which thing does what, instead of throwing in a completed project and just letting you figure it out. See, now I have this hello, nice to meet you option, which doesn't do anything. Right, so let's go back here. What can the NPC do in reaction to this? Let's add an NPC answer. And let's make the NPC wave, for example. This is where the events come in. You can do various events. You can Funcom supplied a couple of them. There's not a lot, just basic stuff like playing emotes and stuff. But you have a way to add custom blueprint events there, so I'll show you that as well. There is one gimmick, however, which took me like... I actually paused the previous video and I spent like an hour troubleshooting it. Because this is what I had, right? And I wanted to add an event. And what happens is, I'll add an event. As you can see, this will activate. And I can add, for example... what is this? Huh, that's weird. The reason it's weird is this is my previous asset, and I restarted the dev kit and deleted everything since. It should show up the Funcom ones, and it's not doing it. So this is a bit buggy, as you can see. Huh. Wait, what is this? Okay, so this is a bug. This is a legit bug. It should show up the events. Let's see what happens if I pick one here. No, it doesn't show. It's showing the event I created, which is already deleted, and it's not showing up the basic Funcom ones. But I'm guessing maybe... No, we cannot even select these. Huh. So I'm gonna pause a second, try to fix it. Okay, so the fix is, this is an asset discovery issue. It happens sometimes with structures as well. Basically what I did is I went into this folder, Systems, Dialogue 2 Actions, and I double clicked each of these to load them up. This is the code for all the assets, and now they should be visible. But it's like a generic Unreal bug. Not sure if Unreal or the Funcom version, but it happens with structures all the time. So now they should show up, as you can see. Yeah, even my old one shows up, which is no longer there. Anyway, these are the default events that you can set that are supplied by Funcom. You can have it consume items, kill players, play an emote, run an event tree, set an ambush category, no, actually turn on an ambush category, spawn an item, teach a feat, provoke hate, enable brawl mode. These are for fighting passive NPCs. The brawl system was kind of scrap. Anyway, we're just gonna do the play emote, which brings us to the other gimmick of this system, which took me a while to discover. So what will happen is, let's delete this. So what will happen is the first node doesn't play events. At least it didn't for me when I tried, and I troubleshooted it for quite a while. I even tried adding them to vanilla dialogue assets. It just seems to be a gimmick of the system. Hello, nice to meet you. That on the very first player or NPC node, it does not play events at all. They just don't trigger. Like I went into the blueprint, put breakpoints, it doesn't fire. So that's something to keep in mind. I'll show you what I mean by that. So here is our event, right? Oops, I clicked player by accident. He was supposed to play this event as soon as I interact with him. I'm not sure if it was checked or not, if I just accidentally clicked the player now. But let's try it again. It doesn't do it. It plays the text. Hello, nice to meet you, and there is no event firing. Same happens if I put it on the first player node. So these first two nodes are a dud in terms of events. If I add further ones, like an NPC answer, and I take my event and put it on this one, oops, then I can make him wave, supposedly, when I press nice to meet you. So beyond that, they seem to work after the first two nodes. And I spent so much time because I didn't know what was going on because of that. Like, it was counterintuitive because I was testing with a very small system. As you can see, he now waves, so it's working perfectly fine. It's just a gimmick, so remember this, keep this in mind. Okay, so what now? What else can we do with this? We could put in another option. Oh, by the way, if you want to go back to like the main menu, for example, when I say nice to meet you, you can add a link and you wire it back to the start or this node, like so. Now when I press nice to meet you, it should bring me back to the... this is how you create paths for the tree to follow. I kind of like the system. It's really versatile once you get used to it. It's just strange at first. It's not like I got used to it though, but I'm just assuming based on what I'm seeing. So, oops, see there are some things there. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh, so when I pressed it the first time, you can see, press it the first time, it takes me back to the main menu, and then I press it again and he waves. So some things are a bit, yeah, because this is both connected to this one and both this one. That's the issue here. So I should have, you can break outgoing. I should have linked back from, oh, another gimmick, you also need a player action to get back to the other menu. So what I could do is link this up, add a PC answer, and do something, or do like a back button. You don't have to, but this is just like an option. And now it would be more, it would make more sense, because action follows reaction, so it's a dialogue basically. Nice to meet you back. Nice to meet you back. And he's doing the waves. Supposed to. There we go. So that's how you would channel things. Now, how about adding more options? We want to add a PC option. And let's try, I don't know. In the previous example, I guess I could do those. I was robbing him basically. Because I was trying custom. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a custom event. So how do you make one of those? For example, I'm going to make an event that adds an item to my inventory when I press the button. So you would make a new blueprint and you search for dialogue, action. This is your base class. You make a child of it, NDD, dialogue, action, spawn, item. Right, so you get an empty blueprint when you open this, and you have one overridable function, perform action. It puts an event node because it doesn't have a return node. So what do we have here? We have, this is the dialogue asset. This is all the setup and parameters that you have there as well. You won't be using these most of all, unless you want to do like checks based on these, like what sound is playing or whatever, like in reusable nodes. These two are the more important ones. This is the player interacting, and this is the actual NPC. So what we're gonna do is take the player and take their inventory, backpack inventory, and we're going to add some item to it. Add item by template. Right, to the player's inventory, and which template. So let's add gold coins, for example, because we like gold coins. Right, now if I wanted to make this reusable, you can use variables. Any variables that you make are able to be set on the actual graph, provided you expose them, just like you do for maps, for example. So I can do this. Now it's editable on the actual thing. Take the variable, plug that in, and then I could also do the quantity, amount, and make it exposed. And like this is a, I'm not sure whether this runs on server or client. I guess we can test quickly by doing a simple print screen and running dedicated mode instead, and that will show us when we use this. So let's get back to our asset, and we are going to rob this person. This is a robbery. Give me your gold. Right. So now we add an NPC reply to this with the gold being added. Here you go. This is all I have. He's going to be lying though. We're gonna RP that he's a liar. Anyway, so when we press this button, we want an event to happen, and it's going to be my NDD event. And as you can see, we have our two exposed variables. I'm going to put gold in it. Gold coin, and I'm going to make it be 5 gold. Poor guy has only 5 gold. And then we're gonna add a PC answer. Thanks. And then we're gonna link this back to the main menu as well. So now we get to rob the poor guy. And we can also monitor where does this actually run. Either, my guess is server, but it could be both, just out of curiosity. So let's go, let's spawn our... This is a robbery, give me all your gold. And where's my output log? Huh, I didn't see that. Apparently my... Thanks. Give me all your gold. Thanks. It's not showing whether it's the server or the client. Probably because we don't have the world context set. Huh. Let's use a player. Because this is like an isolated object, so it's not part of anything really. Yeah, server. See, so this is only running on the server, which is good. It's what I expected. And it's giving me my gold coin. I can rob the guy. He keeps lying to me because he keeps having more and more gold. Why is that? Because we didn't actually set any limits to how much gold he has, and that's where we go into conditions. So let's make the guy have a set amount of gold, for example, and we set a condition that we can only rob him if he actually has some gold. So how do we do that? By the way, let's go over the conditions that... when you have this icon, that means there's an event associated with the node, just to clarify quickly. When I check this, that will tell it it's a condition that this node may or may not appear based on the conditions. Anyway, I'm going to move this action. I think I should have put it on the NPC action because it makes more sense that, you know, he's giving me the gold. And just delete it from here. I think it should still work. We're not going to use any condition. I'm just going to quickly test it just to confirm. Obviously, it doesn't really matter if both of them works, but yeah, it works fine. But now the NPC's responding by giving the gold, so it makes more logical sense, I guess. Right, so we robbed the poor guy blind again. We put the condition back. And we're, let's check the default conditions first. What do we have? And again, we don't have them loaded, so what we're going to do is go to this folder, criteria, and we're going to click these one by one. Let me get my content browser back, so I can just do it off screen. And then we can quickly check what Funcom has set up for us. Too many tabs. It's funny because this video is still going to be at least an hour long. Right, so we're back here, and now it should load all of them. So the criteria can be the level, range of the player, for example, check map, which map we're actually playing on, if it's something SIPTA specific, for example, whether it's dragging a sorcerer, it's probably good for the bounty NPCs when you hand them in, whether you have a collection of feats or any of the following, or an inventory item if an ambush category is enabled, and this is again the tavern bully system, which was removed, so that's probably not going to be a factor. But we can make custom ones, and now I want to make one where we can check if the NPC has enough gold for us to rob him. So for that, let's make another blueprint. This is going to be a dialogue criteria, as you can see there, and we're going to mdd dialogue criteria. Probably should come up with a better name because DC could mean other things as well, but doesn't matter. And has enough item. We're going to be generic with them so they're reusable. Right, so again we have one function, but in this case we do have a return value, so it comes up as a legit function. And what you return here is going to be determine whether this node can be well, based on what you set here. Look, I'll show you quickly. Where is it? Oh, we don't have anything set. We'll set our thing, and based on this, so this determines if your option is selectable. This will just ignore the criteria most likely. Like, I don't expect this to be used unless for just, you know, testing purposes to see what it does. Not selectable, this will put it on the widget visible, but you won't be able to click it. Hidden, this will put it into the widget based on the description, but not actually, it's probably going to be collapsed, so not readable. And then you have disabled, which is the default value where it just doesn't show up at all. We're just going to leave it at that for now. And I'm going to delete this. So earlier I had a dev kit crash because I had a function selected here, but I messed with the input parameters on the blueprint. So when I clicked back on this, it just crashed. So just be aware of that. If you modify things, probably better to do it while it's not selected there. Anyway, we have the same parameters here, the dialogue asset itself, the actual setup of the whole node, the player and the NPC. But in order to actually store the amount of gold the poor guy has, we need something to store it in. And for this I will create a component. I could put it directly like a variable on the actor, but I don't want to directly cast into this actor. Okay, so let's create an actor component. We're going to call it NDD AC gold wallet for our NPC. And we do not have to use the mod controller because we have a custom NPC blueprint. We can just add it there. On our demo vendor, we can add a component and gold wallet. There it is. Right here. And now if we open our new component, lots of unsaved assets. Let's just save these all. I just paused quickly while it saved, so don't have to wait for all of it. Anyway, this is our wallet. I keep checking if I'm paused or not. This video is going to be 1.5 hours as well, yay! But at least it's not muted, hopefully, like the other one. So we're going to, what is it, add a variable, gold amount. I'm trying to hurry up a bit because... Right, and this is going to be, by default, we're going to give the guy 20 gold. And now if we go back to our criteria, we can take the target, which is the NPC, get component, select our new wallet component, and the gold amount is accessible here. Oops. There we go. So now we want to check if he has enough of this. So to you know, compare that, we need something to compare with, and this is going to be our amount variable. And I'm also going to make a template variable as well, just like we did in the other one, and drag this up here so they're ordered like this. Expose these, and what we're going to do is check if where it is, amount bigger Oh no, we're gonna do bigger or equal because that qualifies. Then the amount we need. And I can just straight up plug this in. Oh wait, I'm being an idiot. Oh, did I want to do an inventory? Why did I make a template one? I don't need this variable. So I just want to check whether the variable inside the component is... I was thinking ahead in terms of other projects, how could this be used? Whether this is bigger than the amount we have here. And that's pretty much it. I plugged this in correctly. If the gold amount is lower, then this is going to be false. If the gold amount is higher, then this is going to be true. And I can straight up use this as a... Where's my dialogue asset? As a condition. So criteria... We're going to add my has enough item. And the enough item is going to be, I don't know, 4. Or no, let's make it 3. Just to add some variance. And basically, if my NPC doesn't have enough gold, then this option will not show up. But in order to do that, I need to make the NPC lose gold when he actually gives me the gold that he has. So we're going to request 3 here as well. And we're going to edit our condition. We don't need the print any longer. We know that it's running on the server. And I can uncheck the dedicated, so it's a bit faster. Anyway, now we have to check the actual gold amount of the target, which is the NPC. Get component by class, and we select our wallet. Oops, and we get the oops. Let me just put that there. By the way, if you want, you can check whether components are valid in case you want to handle this type of stuff. You can put an is valid so that it only runs if it's valid, but we're not gonna bother now because it clutters the screen. But it's a nice touch to do those things usually. Anyway. So how do we do this? We're going to have to compare the gold amount with the amount requested. And if we have enough, then we have to set the gold amount to be less. I'm just going to do the setting from here. Normally you would do this cleanly and have some nice little functions in the component to just call, but we're just going to do everything remotely here. So what we want to do is check. Oh, set the yeah, as I was saying, set gold amount, because we're actively modifying it. And we're going to be setting it to the gold amount minus the amount requested, but we need to cap this to our actual, you know, 0. So let's add a max node, and 0 is going to be our minimum value. Right, so we got that part settled where it says the new amount, so it can never go into negative, and we're taking away the amount. But now we need to make sure that the quantity that it's that we're being given does not exceed the amount that he has. So in order to do that, we can do new gold amount. Wait, just a max value or a min, right? So minimum between the amount that we requested or whatever he has left. Yeah, that's right. Oops, we don't need that extra pin. So this should be basic logic to make sure we don't get more than we need to. So we got 3 things done. We have a condition checking if we have enough gold. The condition is set up on this node. When we press the button, if it had enough gold, then it will run this more complicated one here. That will add us the gold if the NPC has enough. So both of them are checking if he does have enough or not. But for different purposes. Anyway, let's run this, see what happens. Right. Test dialogue NPC. This is a robbery, give me your gold. He does have 20 gold and he's giving me 3 things. So 3 again, thanks. 3 again, thanks. That's 9 so far. 3 again. 3 again, 15. 3 again, oops, 2. Oh, I miscounted, sorry. Or I didn't put maybe a greater than equal something. Anyway, as you can see now, the option is missing. And if I talk to him again, it's no longer there because we robbed all his gold. Whether or not my logic is sound there, I don't know. But it basically worked. So that's pretty much it as far as the dialogue system goes. Of course, you can decorate all of these with all sorts of sounds and things. Blink back and forth, add more options. Oops, if you want to, you know, add more NPC responses for like additional events and stuff. I don't know. Pretty much covers the version 2 system. Oh, this is tied into the quests as well, but it's tied in via actual events and conditions and things like that. So it's basically coded to interact with all the companion quest tables and stuff. I'm not gonna cover all of that because we already covered this extensively, and this is pretty much the full overview of the whole dialogue system right now in the game, as far as I know. That's pretty much it. So thank you for watching and happy modding. Yay, we made it. 1 hour 22 minutes. Holy shit. See ya.